I'm Chef Shayna, and welcome back to Celebrate the Bounty. It's Tuesday, which means we're at the River Park Farmers Market, and today we're going to discuss what I think is a culinary powerhouse, mushrooms. Today we're at the Captain's Mushroom Company learning all about mushrooms. I'm with Jeremy, and Jeremy, can you tell me a little bit about the mushrooms you grow?
Yeah, we grow about 13 different kinds of mushrooms, and in this room we have to keep it a certain temperature and certain humidity to make sure that they grow correctly, especially here in Fresno where it can get up to 110 degrees in the summer.
Right, mushrooms like moisture and cooler weather, right?
They do. In this room we grow them at 82 to 88% humidity, and we keep the temperature in between 60 and 65.
Okay. But because it's inside, you can harvest mushrooms all year round.
That's right, we do. We harvest about 25 to 40 pounds a week.
Wow. Okay, and what are some of the varieties that you grow?
We grow some elm oyster, which are the white mushrooms right up here. We also grow king blue oyster, which is our main blue oyster. We grow pink oyster mushrooms. We grow, which you can see behind me, some chestnut mushrooms. The regular blue oyster, just for some variety. And as you look around the room, you can kind of see some pink oyster mushrooms. We also grow white enoki, and a lot of shiitake, and a lot of lion's mane. We harvest mushrooms every single day of the week. And mushrooms are on their own time. So sometimes, we'll put a block in here and we'll be ready to harvest it in 3 days, sometimes 2 weeks.
Okay. But you have mushrooms to bring fresh to the farmer's market every day, every week. Thank you, Jeremy, for teaching us all about mushrooms. And if you'd like to pick up some mushrooms or learn more, join us at the River Park Farmers Market on a Tuesday night. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Great. Did you have any questions?
Yes, I'm looking for mushrooms. Where are these grown?
So these you can find all around the world. We grow everything here locally in Fresno. We grow all our stuff out of substrate blocks, usually out of sawdust and either a wheat or soy base.
All right, and if I were to buy the mushrooms and bring them home, how should I store them properly?
You would want to store almost all mushrooms in a refrigerator, and they would last about, depending on which variety you have, a week to 2 weeks.
Okay, and what are your favorite uses with the mushrooms, recipes or?
Depending, lion's mane, a lot of people like for meat substitute. It's real hearty and cook it like a chicken or a steak. You can even pull it apart like pulled pork. Oyster mushrooms you can cook with a lot of different meats. Some people like it in soups.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay tuned for a fascinating journey into the realm of fungi. Today, we're diving into one of nature's most earthy and flavorful ingredients, fresh mushrooms. Mushrooms are truly magical in the kitchen. They bring a rich, savory flavor known as umami, and they can transform any dish into something extra special. Whether you're grilling, sauteing, or roasting them, mushrooms soak up flavors beautifully and can even serve as a hearty, meatless alternative in many dishes. When it comes to nutrition, mushrooms are small but mighty. They're low in calories, fat-free, and packed with important nutrients like B, vitamins, potassium, and antioxidants. Plus, they're one of the few plant-based sources of vitamin D, which makes them a great addition to your diet. There are so many ways to use a mushroom in quick, delicious recipes. You can toss them in a stir fry for a burst of flavor, saute them with garlic and herbs as a side dish, or even stuff them with cheese and breadcrumbs for a tasty appetizer. They're also perfect for adding depth to soups, sauces, and pasta dishes. All right, let's get ready to create something flavorful and fun with these fresh mushrooms. Let's get cooking. All right, I asked my kids earlier, but who likes mushrooms? Oh good, we have a lot more fans than I had earlier. Who makes my job easier. Tonight we're gonna do a mushroom soup. Super easy, it's a creamy mushroom soup, however, it is lactose free. I, for one, can't have lactose, and neither can my husband. So I actually created this to help us enjoy mushroom soup without it being creamy. And it is coconut based instead. So I am heating my stock pot here. I'm gonna add just a couple tablespoons of coconut oil. Of course, you could use olive oil here as well, but since I'm using a coconut milk, just kind of sticking with the theme of coconut. I have a shallot and I'm just gonna slice it and get it ready for us to heat. The thing I like about mushrooms is they take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking them in. So earlier we made tacos with them. Now we're making a soup that pairs well. We're gonna use fresh thyme. Of course, one of my favorite dishes is a stuffed button mushroom appetizer with sausage. So Mushrooms are very versatile and you can do so much with them, which is why I love cooking with them. So we're just gonna slice up the shallot. I'm using a shallot rather than an onion because of the almost sweeter flavor that the shallot has, but it also is very poignant as well, which is great for the mushroom soup. It pairs really nicely together. Does anybody have questions?
Is there a different taste from the shallot than a purple mushroom? That's what you hear?
Purple onion?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It has a little bit of a different flavor profile, and again, that's why I'm using that. But if you don't have a shallot and you have an onion at home, go for the onion. It's okay. Any other questions?
I'm just surprised at how I can smell the coconut oil flavor.
Yes, yes. So another funny fact, I made this soup for my husband who hates coconut, but he loves this soup. So you can smell it, and it to me is very coconutty, but for some reason he loves this soup. It's actually inspired by a dish that I had in Santa Barbara way back when, and I don't know, maybe that's why he likes it. I don't know. All right, so we'll get these sauteing. We just want to brown them, so maybe 2 minutes in the oil, and then we'll add in the mushrooms. Ooh, that just went in my eye. We had them covered. Ta-da! Here are the mushrooms. And we are using sliced white mushrooms as well as shiitake mushrooms. Ooh, that's strong. And we're gonna add those in. You just need to slice them. You don't really need to chop them up because we're gonna use an immersion blender later. We do wanna coat all of that with the oil and let that cook down. And the recipes that you have, if you wanted to even double it and make it to have an extra batch for later in the fridge or freeze it, you could do that as well. You want it to be firm. Yes, definitely firm. You don't want a squishy shallot. So, sounds pretty, but it doesn't taste good. All right, and then today we're gonna use some fresh thyme. I'm gonna give you just a little bit of time to smell. You can have it as your own personal garnish for the end.
Thanks.
You got it. There you are. I like growing thyme in the garden. It's the gift of time, if only, right?
It smells so fresh.
Yes. Again, mushrooms are so earthy, and so they take on the flavor of what you're cooking them with, and thyme is a great complement to the mushroom. So I'm gonna hold it, it grows this way, I'm holding it upside down, and simply gonna de-stem it and add it into the soup. So you guys will get to practice that at the end. As it grows, upside down, and just away from you. One more time for those in the back, upside down and away from you. Then we're gonna add in some salt and fresh pepper. There we go. Add a little bit of vegetable stock, about half a cup now and then half a cup later. We'll stir that up. So when you cook mushrooms, because they have such a high moisture content, if you're doing something like sauteing them, you want to cook them on high heat so the moisture absorbs out of them and they don't become slimy. That's just a tip. Of course, we are going to be adding much more moisture and blending them up, but if you were just to saute up the mushrooms, that would be something I would suggest. We'll let that heat for a little bit. Then we'll add in our coconut milk and let it simmer, and we'll be ready to go. This is very fun to serve with, of course, any sort of fresh bread or Parmesan croutons. If you're trying to go vegan and not add any dairy, skip the, the cheese part of it, but it is a good vegan dish as well. I did use vegetable stock, but you could use chicken stock as a substitute as well. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you use any kind of mushroom in this soup, or do you recommend these ones
No.
specifically?
You could certainly use a variety of mushrooms. Yeah, have fun, play with it, whatever is available at the market. It's super fun to go to the mushroom vendor right around the corner. He has so many cool, fun looking mushrooms, and I highly suggest trying out different ones. The thing with how you slice them is I would do it even so that they cook evenly when you go to blend it. But other than that, yeah, have fun and play with it. Any other questions? I haven't tried beef stock, but I'm sure that would work as well too. Yeah. Again, I was kind of going for, I'm not vegan, but a vegan type vibe of having it be vegetarian.
So when you're at a farmer's market evaluating mushrooms, how can you tell like a good mushroom from a bad mushroom?
Sure. So the best thing about shopping at a farmer's market is utilizing the farmer and their knowledge and asking them questions, and really having them guide you about how to pick the best ones. And typically when they bring fruits and vegetables to the farmer's market, they're bringing the best of the best for you to shop there fresh. Because they're standing there, they'll usually take away the ones that they don't want to sell. So typically when you find something at the farmer's market, it's gonna be a good one. The other thing I really like to be able to do is ask them, how do you prepare it? What do you suggest I do? And they have some unique ideas that I wouldn't have thought about. And that helps you cook in season too, right? They typically pick it either the morning of or the day before, so you know it's local and fresh, very nutrient dense too. Great question though. You can kind of smell it, right? It's fragrant. Yeah. It's October. We're supposed to be in soup season. I forced my family to eat this 2 nights ago. Like, pretend it's cold and we're enjoying this. What's that?
Just crank up the AC.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yes. So I'm going to add the can of coconut milk. Typically, I would let this simmer for a good 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to really soak in the flavors, cook down some of the liquids. But here we're gonna do TV magic and we're gonna cook it and blend it up a little sooner than I normally would.
Ever tried this soup without blending it? Like, is that an option, or is this particular recipe best blended?
I think it's best blended, and you'll see why. It has a very kind of creamy consistency. Yes. And I created this when my kids were super young and they were like, I'm not gonna eat that. But when it's blended together, they're more inclined to try it. Yeah. And we tend in my family to like thicker soups. I blend a lot of like beans to make it a creamy consistency and that kind of thing, just to have that more hearty soup. Yeah. Any other?
Coconut milk and cream the same, or is the cream thicker?
The cream is a little bit thicker. The coconut cream.
Flavor-wise, is it more flavory?
I think the flavor to me is very similar, and you could, if you have coconut cream at home, you could certainly use it. It'd be okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna play with fire and I'm gonna blend it up while it's cooking. Typically we would remove it, but I'm feeling brave, I think. Yeah. So immersion blenders, my best friend. If there is one kitchen tool I think everybody needs, it's an immersion blender. That way you're not transferring piping hot liquid into a blender to blend it up. The other thing to note is I typically would have used a little bit more mushrooms, but I didn't have any more to use, so it would have been a little richer in mushrooms. But here we are, cooking in our kitchen. And I'm super excited for you guys to try it. I'm happy that you guys are all here cooking. Are you ready to garnish with your thyme, your big roll? Okay. The one thing that you do want to make sure of is that you blend all the mushrooms up, right? To have that kind of creamy consistency. And like I said, I typically blend it when it's not boiling in the stove.
Now, are mushrooms seasonal for the fall?
What's that?
Mushrooms are fall seasonal vegetables.
So the mushrooms here at the market in Fresno are grown indoors. So they are actually available year round. and they grow on a cycle, so you can find them at any time. And again, because mushrooms take on different flavors, you can really incorporate them into a dish at any time. I tend to think Thanksgiving, fall, that kind of thing. But I mean, you could enjoy them year round thanks to indoor growing. This immersion blender is failing me, I think. I never travel without mine, so I'm gonna grab it and try it. The random things I carry with me. You never know, and you'll need an immersion blender. Like I said, I am, yes. I take my blending seriously. Yes. Blender. Yes. Do you guys have favorite mushroom recipes that you like to cook?
Or stuffed mushrooms.
Stuffed mushrooms.
I love mushrooms. I
Yes.
request them like on special occasions.
Can't go wrong with a stuffed mushroom.
The button mushrooms. Yeah.
Yes. And what do you stuff them? Okay, cream cheese.
Spinach, garlic.
Okay, cream cheese, spinach, garlic. I love that. So no meat. It's just cheesy, yummy. I like it. Very good.
What can it be?
I like sausage with it. I'm not a sausage fan, but I really like sausage in stuffed mushrooms. And cheese, of course. I even like pine nuts for a little bit of crunch. All right. I'm gonna turn it off so I don't burn your lips too. No, typically the ratio that I use of mushrooms, there's so many mushrooms that it makes it a really nice thick soup. Yeah. So it's actually pretty healthy. You're not adding a lot of ingredients. Very simple: coconut milk, vegetable broth, thyme, salt, pepper, a little bit of coconut oil, and a lot of mushrooms. All right. Now I'm ready to serve it up. We gotta let it cool. Can I take your bowl? Here, I'll just. Yes. All right, we'll go over the garnish one more time. There you are. You got it. All right, so it grows like this. You turn it upside down away from you and just peel it away. Voila. All right, you definitely can try it, but it's gonna be super hot, fresh off the stove. I had a blast cooking with you today and exploring new tasty flavors from the farmers market. Farmers markets are such a wonderful place to find fresh, locally grown veggies and try out new recipes with them. See you next time for another fun cooking adventure.